Hello friends, welcome to FactShots initiative. In the last video, we have talked about various initiatives which are launched by us, that is Facts 2022, Value Plus 2022 and Combo 2022, right? So in this video, we will discuss how to utilize these value addition material in your UPSC mains answers. So let me show you the sample PDF. The description link for this particular sample PDF has been given in the description of this particular video, that is how to utilize these various value addition facts in your mains answers, right? So in this particular sample you can see how these facts have been arranged in a logical manner, that is according to the syllabus of the UPSC. For example, in GS1, GS2, GS3. Again in GS1 we have society part, right? In GS2 we have polity, governance, social justice, IR part. In GS3 we have economy, agriculture, then environment, science, tech, internal security, disaster management, right? So these facts are arranged in a logical manner in this sample PDF, and you will get the monthly PDF once you subscribe this particular initiative. Okay, so I will just run you through this particular sample PDF. So let us come to the first topic, that is GS1, and the first sub point is the woman, right? So see the first fact here. According to NCRB, that is National Crime Records Bureau, it says that only 785 cases have been registered under the Prohibition of the Child Marriage Act in 2020, right? And another data which is given here is by NFHS, that is National Family Health Survey number 5, that around 23.3% girls were marrying before the legal age. So this is the observation by National Family Health Survey. You can utilize the same fact in multiple ways, for example in GS, in your essay, in your optional, etc. So let me show you through example. I have a compilation of the PYQ which is according to the subtopics of the GS, right? So right now we are discussing GS1. Under GS1 we are discussing society, and that particular society part we are right now discussing the woman part, right? So let me just run you through these PYQ. For example, see, in 2021 the question was asked in the role of gig economy in the empowerment of women, right? Then question like this, you can see a continued challenges for women in India against time and space. Now try to connect the fact that I discuss right now with this particular question. Let us come to the fact again. It is saying that around 23%, okay, so let us round up this figure, around 23% girls were marrying. But what the question says, the question is saying or asking what are the challenges for women in India against time and space. So in one of the challenges, we know that there are various challenges. For example, in various dimension, we already know those dimension, in social dimension, economic dimension, political dimension, environmental dimension, technological dimension, right? So under each dimension you can quote such facts. For example, in social dimension I can say that girls child marriage is one of the major issue that is happening in India, that is around 23% girls are undergoing child marriage, right? And you can quote the source, that is National Family Health Survey. That is one of the authentic source that you can quote in your answers, right? So this is the way you can utilize this particular fact. Now again, one more thing that I want to tell you, that you can also utilize this particular fact in your GS2 part is there, right? In GS2 social justice part is there, you can utilize here. Then again in GS4 ethics you can quote such facts if there is a question related to the woman empowerment or related to the patriarchy or any other issue related to women in GS4, right? Also you can utilize this particular fact if there is an essay on patriarchy or gender empowerment or issues of the woman. So in similar way you can utilize these facts also in your G optional. For example, in political science there is a section called as Indian government and politics, right? In sociology optional you can utilize this particular fact to add your value to your particular mains answer, right? So even in anthropology you can utilize these facts. So that is the way you can utilize the same fact in multiple ways. That is what I wanted to convey you. Okay. So let us move to the next facts, that is recognizing household work. We know that in India patriarchy is prevalent, and most of the women that they perform work, they are unpaid, right? And the fact that is quoting here is that around 76.2 of the total hours of the unpaid care work is done by the woman. And if we compare this with the men, it is 3 times as compared to the men, right? We know that even there are housewives who don't get paid, right, by their husband. So in our India we have patriarchal family, and because of this particular issue, female, that is the woman, get less paid according to, or even in some cases they get unpaid, that is the household work, especially unpaid care work. So you can utilize this particular fact in this particular question that I told you right now, that is what are the challenges for women in India. Again, time and space. Again, see, there is a similar question. Women's in India, or women's movement in India has not addressed the issues of women of lower social strata. Now we know that there are some women who belong to women of the lower social strata, right? And they do some kind of unpaid work. So you can utilize this particular fact in this particular question. Next, you can find a particular question in which you can utilize the fact that we discuss right now, that is how patriarchy impact the position of middle class working woman, right? Now we know that middle class working woman has to face double burden. Double burden means what? She has to do the household works, for example cooking, like child rearing or other cleaning work, and also she has to go to the office, right, to earn the livelihood to support her family. So she is getting unpaid for the household work that she is doing. So in this way you can utilize the same fact in a different types of questions which are related to this particular topic, not only a particular GS, that is 1 2 3 4, but in every particular question which is related to that particular topic. And it depends upon your interlinking of that particular fact to the different questions, and I mean how to utilize this particular fact in different ways. That is the skill that you will master through your answer writing and revising these particular facts, right? So let us move to the next topic. For example, consider GS2. Okay, so we have a particular GS2 section here, right? Now in this particular GS2 there is a subtopic called as legislature. Now we know that in India there is a reservation to women only in the local bodies, right? We know that we brought reservation for the women through the 73rd and 74th amendment, right? In 1990s, right? So the main issue that is discussed in this particular fact is that under representation of women in Indian legislature is more striking, right? Right now we have 14%, right? Out of the total Lok Sabha strength, we have only 14% of the seats are occupied by the women. And if we compare India with the other countries, for example, consider other countries like Rwanda. Now Rwanda is a kind of developing country, we can say, right? Developing or even underdeveloped, we can say, but still their representation of women in their parliament is still higher, and it is not a very small amount, but it is a very higher amount, that is around 60%, right? So India can learn from these countries, and you can utilize such facts in your answers. For example, the question that I discussed right now, what are the challenges for the woman, that is against time and space. In this particular question you can write the dimension that in political arena the women get underrepresented because they don't get reservation. That is one more fact, and that is again a patriarchal society, right? The mindset of the people is not yet to accept the woman as the rulers or the politicians, right? Even in 2021 a similar question was asked, that why there is underrepresentation of women in Indian judiciary, right? So similar question can be asked, that is why women are underrepresented in Indian legislature. We know that a bill was introduced in the parliament, that is to get reservation for the women in Indian legislatures, right? But the bill could not be passed because there was not any consensus on that particular issue, and therefore this issue is still pending, and that is the reason why we can see the women are being underrepresented in Indian legislature. Okay. Next is about the productivity of Rajya Sabha. Now we know that Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament, and it does the work of scrutinizing the various bills which are passed by the Lok Sabha. Right. So it is a senior chamber, but in recent years its productivity is declining, and according to our findings, the second lowest annual productivity at 59% was recorded in 2021 since its inception. So according to Rajya Sabha Secretariat, with the 59% annual productivity, it was the second lowest for the upper house, right? So whenever there is a question, for example, question may be asked ki, what is the relevance? Okay, let us go to the questions from the GS2. So a question may be asked in such a topics like polity, that is what is the relevance of Rajya Sabha. So let us search if you find a particular question related to Rajya Sabha. Okay, so you can see a question that is, Rajya Sabha has been transformed from a useless stepney tire to the most useful supporting organ in past few decades. Highlight the factors as well as areas in which transformation could be visible. Now this question is talking about the again relevance or the importance of Rajya Sabha. So in this particular question you can quote that even though it is a kind of important chamber of the parliament, but its productivity is declining, right? Because there is no consensus over a particular issue between government and the opposition parties, right? So this is the way you can utilize the facts in your questions, right, in your mains. Next fact is about mechanism for betterment of vulnerable sections, right? We know that in during COVID period different people died because of the infections and because of the lack of the sufficient treatment, right? So the different children in India, they have lost their either single parent or both of the parents because of COVID-19, and there are around 1.4 lakh children who suffer this problem, right? And the data is shared by NCPCR, that is National Commission for Protection of the Child Rights. So you can utilize such facts in the question related to the child, I mean the vulnerable section. If you go to GS1 society part and also in social justice part of the GS2, you can write the answers, I mean you can quote such facts in the questions related to the child. What are the issues faced by the child in India, or what are the negative impacts of the COVID-19 on Indian society? In such questions, if there is a question like this, you can quote this fact that many children become parentless, they become orphan because they have lost their single parent or both the parents unluckily. Okay, so let us move to the next part, that is the health part. Okay, so we know that in India already the percentage of public expenditure on health is less than 1.5%, right? So this particular fact is talking about India accounts for one fifth of the total childbirths in the world, right? One fifth means what? Around 20%. Suppose in world 100% childbirths are happening, so 20% are contributed by the India alone, and the maternal mortality rate in India is around 113 per live lakh per lakh live births, right? So you can utilize this fact in both aspects, from woman's perspective as well as also in the child's perspective, right? So maternal mortality rate can be quoted in woman related question, and the childbirth death rate, right? So it can be quoted in child related questions. So this is the way you can address this particular fact, I mean you can utilize it in a particular question. So let us find if there is a question related to healthcare, and I can tell you in a more detailed way whether we can utilize this particular fact or not. Okay. Okay, there was a question in 2013, that are the what are the various MDGs and what are the steps which are taken by the government to achieve the MDGs. But right now MDGs are not relevant because their period was between 2000 2015. But the similar question can be asked by UPSC, that identify SDGs, right? SDGs, and what are the success of the actions taken by the government for achieving the goals in the health sector. You can see the question related to the health sector. So in such questions, if the question is asked related to the SDGs related to health, you can quote such facts that in India still there is a high rate of child death, right, and also maternal mortality rate, even though we are a developing country. And despite many government programs and initiatives, this is a kind of irony for us. Okay, so let us come to the sample PDF again. So this was about health fact. Okay, let us discuss the next facts. For example, consider education, right? Now education is a kind of subject or topic which is also in GS1. It is also present in GS2. It can be also considered under GS3, especially in the inclusive growth part. We know that there is inclusive growth section, right, in economy. Also, uh, we can also consider it in the GS4 part. And even essay can be asked on the education, and there have been few topics which are related to the education which are asked by UPSC, right? So let us consider the first fact. According to World Bank's Global Education Director, he is saying that he or she, where that person may be, according to World Bank's Global Education Director, the learning poverty is expected to increase from 55% to 70% because of learning loss and more out of the school children. We know that during COVID period, schools were shut down, right, to prevent the spread of the infection, and many children were forced to attend the online classes. But we know that many children cannot access internet because of the remote inhabitations, or because of the lack of network, or lack of the devices like tablet, smartphone, etc., right? Because of all these issues, many children couldn't access the quality education because this particular disaster, that is COVID-19. And this has resulted in the increment, that is learning loss, from 55% to 70%, right? So this is a kind of loss to India in terms of economy also. Now the report by World Bank Education says that because of this particular COVID-19 and informality, India is going to lose around USD, that is dollar 400 billion, that is 400 billion dollar, right? If you consider the future aspects of the economy, India is going to lose around 400 billion dollars because of this particular fact, that is India, that is the children of the India couldn't get quality education, or they couldn't get access to this particular education, right? So you can utilize such facts in the question related to the education. So even recently the question was asked by UPSC, that how the online education will impact education system in India. So in such questions which are related to the current issue base, right? So we can quote such facts to get more, marks in particular question. Okay, see, there are few questions related to the, for example, higher education, right? Higher education is there. Next there is primary education is there, right? So there are various issues, and all of them have similar issues, like for example, infrastructure, quality of teaching, quality of soft skills, quality of social security, right, quality of continuity. So all these facts are affecting education system, and they are indirectly affecting our future economic aspects in terms of GDP loss. So let us come back to the original sample PDF again. So this was all about education factor. So let us move to the next fact, that is hunger. Now we know that in recently released report, that is Global Hunger Index, India has ranked 101 out of 116 countries, right? So even though India considered considered itself as a kind of self-sufficient in the food production, still we have, kind of largest population which is suffering from this particular hunger, right? Okay, so we can utilize such facts in your main answers. If we consider the PYQ, let us find if there is a particular question related to the hunger. Okay, now see, you can see issues related to the poverty and hunger is a kind of topic which is given in this particular GS2 under social justice part. See, hunger and poverty, you can see the PYQ in 2017. The question was asked, hunger and poverty are biggest challenges for good governance in India and still today, right? So in such questions you can quote the fact that how the hunger is a kind of challenge for good governance in India, even though there are various government initiative now, but still they couldn't completely succeed to eradicate all kind of hunger issues in India, right? So this particular question is related to the hunger, and you can quote such facts related to the poverty questions as well, because poverty can be directly linked with this particular hunger part, right? Next, there is a similar question like lack of availability of food as the main cause of hunger, right? So do you agree with this particular view? No, actually India is a surplus country, but there is issue of distribution of this particular surplus. I mean, people don't get proper and enough amount of food and quality amount of food. That is a kind of accessibility and availability issue, and that is leading to the hunger, right? That is hunger issues. So let us come to the original PDF again. The last topic that we are considering in this particular video is related to the India and its neighborhood relation. Okay, so this particular fact can be utilized in GS2 as well, also in ethics, also in your political science optional, right? So let us consider a particular fact. Okay, let us take any fact here. For example, India China. Now India's trade with China in 2021 crossed around $125 billion, with the imports from China nearing record $100 billion, which underlining continued demand for a range of Chinese goods, particularly machinery. Now, whenever there is a question related to the India-China relation, we can quote that India and China are interdependent in terms of economic trade, right? Right? So you can quote such facts that India and China, though there are issues, especially on the border, right? But in terms of economy, they are interconnected, and we can write analytically that we can utilize such things to normalize the relationship between India and China, considering the economic importance of each other, right? So we can quote such facts in your answers. So I hope this is enough for this particular video. The main focus of this video was that is how to utilize the facts which are provided by us in various questions, the mains questions, and how you can get extra 0.5 to 1 marks per question. In earlier video, as I discussed, that the importance of even 0.5 marks, and at that time we think that if we could have written more qualitative answers, we could get a final rank. But that is again an issue, that is you couldn't practice the validation part, and that is part is being made easier by us by providing such quality material which is taken from various authentic sources, right, which is segregated monthly, which is having kind of authenticity. That is, we are also quoting sources for this particular data. You don't quote any facts which are not which don't have any authentic source. So that gives more authenticity to your data. If the examiner is reading that particular fact, he will get assured that this particular candidate had written fact from a particular authentic data. So I hope this is all from my side, and if you have any doubts, you can comment in this particular comment section. You can see on our website, that is facts 2022, that is one initiative, then another initiative, that is value plus 2022. We can utilize these initiatives in your mains preparation. So let us meet again in the next video. By the time, have a nice day. Thank you.